Successive governments have struggled to reduce unemployment cases across Ghana, and despite the introduction of various interventions and strategies, the number keeps increasing, especially youth unemployment. The situation isn't different in the Upper East region, as many young people walk around seeking jobs to live their dreams. In this documentary, we look at female unemployment in the region and available opportunities in the agricultural sector. Mariama has no permanent job and has done some temporary contract jobs. She has no contract job now and is back to the job market.
My name is Mariama Sadiq. I'm a graduate from Sunyani Technical University and I studied public relations, that's communications studies. Okay, so currently I'm unemployed, but however, I managed to do some small contracts with an NGO in Tamale. So what they do is they do mostly educational, and then sometimes they do in terms of agriculture and other stuff. So yes, there's petty jobs here and there.
It is common to hear about young women traveling to the south in search of non-existent jobs. They end up doing odd jobs and sleeping and working in slums and are unable to come back home because they do not get the earnings they expected. Sister Baby hails from Zoko in the Bongo district. She now lives and hawks at the Agoglushi market in the Greater Accra region. She has no intentions of coming back home. She says there are no jobs in the region. Isaka Muhammad is the CEO of Upper Livestock Farms and an agribusiness coach. He believes there is so much the youth can earn from the agri sector in the Upper East region. His interest has been to encourage and coach young women to show interest and invest their time in the sector.
Something like broiler chicken. Broiler chicken, we used at least 6 to 8 weeks to raise a broiler chicken. So how can a country like Ghana import broilers when we have youth who can use just 6 to 8 weeks to raise a broiler for us? So this shows that there is a lot of opportunity in the agriculture sector. But the problem and the difficulty we have is that, number one, we have not made the youth to understand the modern way of agriculture and what the potentials in the agriculture aspect. So we see it as it's for old people, pensioners. So it is not encouraging. Now, why are we importing when we have the youth? Why are we importing when we have the ability to produce? It's all because the image of agriculture is not looking good. That does not attract the youth.
We're looking at female unemployment. Yeah. Is it something beyond the strength of women?
Yeah, I think women can do and even do it better. Livestock can change the women in so many ways, and they are even standing the chance of utilizing the livestock as compared to the men. A young lady called Immaculate, but when I met her, I tried to. I was so happy when I met her going into that business. So all I need to do is to empower, encourage her I try to even project her on my Facebook page for people to see young ladies like this staying back home and then being productive to their society and community.
Immaculate returned from the south after many odd jobs. She started her livestock farm with as little as 600 Ghana cedis when she came home. What really motivated you to start this poultry farm?
My motivation came when I wanted to do something at senior high school so that I'll be able to further my education. I actually wanted to prevent myself from pushing to the southern sector to find job. So I thought around me what is available that I could do for myself to gather some money. Then I did some research on livestock. So I realized that in this part of the country, the Paris region, Guinea Fowl is something I can actually go into. I did a lot of research on it, and then at the end of the day, I found what I really wanted, and I got a passion for it, and then I came into it.
So let's pour this place. What do you need to start something like this?
We always say capital is what you need to start any business at all. But you know, with this kind of business, you mustn't start it as a huge. So you can just get an amount of pairs or eggs. I, for instance, I started with the eggs. I just got some money, like 600 cedis. Then I went to Zebla, purchased some eggs. Then I came, but then I didn't have an incubator. So I gave it to someone, they hatched for me, and I paid. So I started with the eggs. I just bought the eggs.
So after you hatched and you started, how did it go? They grew and you sold those ones?
Sure. So we have something called brooding. So after hatching, the money was just 600 cedis. So I bought the eggs at 400 cedis. Then I used the remaining 200 cedis to pay the one that hatched the eggs for me. Then I brooded, I sold some and bought feed. Because I had exhausted the money. So I had to sell some and then bought feed and fed the remaining ones, and then I sold them. And you know, it's seasonal. So by then the season was almost out. So I quickly invested all the money again and purchased another bag of eggs.
There is a good market for livestock farmers like Immaculate and others who have invested their time in creating their businesses in this area. Baba sells poultry at the Bolgatanga market. He believes the market is big enough to buy all the birds produced in the region. Baka kusoku ba ne ko hunde ti sokto so wo hila are sela ke ne da han gonna han na kan de ken tonda awayan enya de ken yang be
eto ora no ora ti man ko abala tarbira kwama wa mi pasile so ukala a sona tu ko za tu ukala ure ya maza awa yo ora kana ko so gonna on ukale ko ai do de sonto na ko mbi por na saba mbola ka to somala ka pata toma ka bola ba ura a soma ba ta wana sabu da wa kale ta mal isa.
Zebila is known for live guinea fowls and processed guinea fowls as well. This industry has provided a steady income for many young women and families in the area. This young lady is a beneficiary of this booming business in Zebila.
A business near the government went to the Sicela. To Yabo said that to my Tonto Yibe, many but as the government to complete to school, where government this time to Malabana Paola to end Cabayato Toma. So, I'm a young girl say, but I come enjoy. Don't 7. Oh, but not a come enjoy. You must money. That call. Funny, see, Ben and Hoppy, or feel legally after me. So, Ben a mayor. I don't pay a month. That way I'm not for me living okay. But don't tell I saw no call for you. So, I buy 1 or 2 living. I did, or for a lot of cardboard.
Isaka Mohammed is available to train and help young women to start and grow their livestock business. Are you open for mentorship? Can people come to you for learning?
Oh yes, I'm open for it. I have even been interacting with most of the youth, but I was shocked that there was a day I was in the house when a 6-year-old boy came and was knocking my door. When I opened, he said, please, do you have guinea fowls?
Hey.
And I said, you want to do what? That he wants to buy guinea fowl. I said, you want to do what? I want to also go and rear. So you see that what we do, others see and they are attracted to it. So we need to do more as a country. Agriculture is the only thing that can change our economy and that can reduce unemployment drastically. I am so happy those I've met and I mentored, they are doing a very great work. Even sometimes I become shocked myself. Yes.
Mariam is a graduate with a good social network and wouldn't mind venturing into the livestock business if she would get training and coaching.
Yes, if I'm being mentored on how to cater for or how to be able to manage in that aspect, I might just take an interest in it.
Immaculate still has her dream of becoming a marine engineer in mind. She is mobilizing money from her livestock business to pay her fees if she gains admissions.
I think it's something that I have passion in. Okay. So I actually want to broaden my knowledge around that. I've always wanted to be a marine engineer. Okay. So it's something that I wish to become one day. But as for
even if you become a marine engineer,
I can never stop being a farmer. Because agriculture is actually good. The profit margin is huge, all right. And sometimes it depends on the performance of the eggs you buy. Okay. For instance, if I had space, if I was having a lamb somewhere that I would have been having my own matured guinea fowl that lay for me. Then I take eggs. But in this case, because I don't have land, I can't keep the matured ones to take eggs. So we buy the eggs, and sometimes the eggs are very bad. But in times where the eggs are good, the profit margin is huge. So I could say, so far since the season began, I've made close to 30,000.
Oh wow! Take us through the hatching process. How is it done?
So with the hatching, we have 28 days for the guinea fowl eggs, and we also have 21 days for local fowls or eggs. We call fowl eggs, 21, and the guinea fowl takes 28. And so at this point, I have some bears that are currently hatching, and some are still under incubation.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes because of the weather, they hatch before the 28 days. Okay. Mostly by the 25th, they are done hatching. Okay. So they use 3 days to hatch. When they start cracking today, the next 2 days, they are done hatching.
Wow. So those down there, are they supposed to stay there a little longer before you take them out?
So once they get enough heat and then they gain strength. So you see that it's yet coming out. It's yet coming out. So the feathers are not out yet. So it needs heat. Okay. For the feathers to rise. So once the feathers rise, it can stay there for like a day. Okay. But it can survive here after hatching. It can survive for 3 days. Okay. before without food and water. Before you can use it.
And so, how many eggs can this incubator take?
This 2,112 capacity. So usually some hatch and they are not able to come out.
Okay.
So on the third day of hatching, you have to help some of them to come out. Else they will die inside the shell.
Okay.
So a lot of times it happens. If you don't do this, you lose a lot.
So it means that you have to always be here.
Always. It needs time. If you don't have time,
you can't.
Then unless maybe there's someone who is always silent. Like needs time.
Okay. So you have somebody who assists you, or you do this all by yourself?
Yeah, I have someone that actually assists me. But majority of the work is
done by yourself.
Because at the moment.
So those ones you are throwing, what costs this?
You know, during incubation, the readings of the machine. So we have something we call humidity readings and temperature readings. Okay. So the eggshell cracking, for instance, depends on the humidity. So when you are not able to get the accurate readings of the humidity, then it affects the cracking of the shell. Okay. So the humidity forces it to crack. So when the humidity is low, because of the weather, it's not able to crack properly and come out. Sometimes the egg could have an infection. Okay. So you see it will crack, but some liquid will come to the nostrils and then it will eventually die. So there are a lot of factors causing the hatching period. Sometimes the way they handle the eggs and come to sell for you, all those things are factors. The guinea fowls, the best you could do is give 1 male to 5 females. But mostly at the end of the day, our fathers will give about 15 females to 1 male. Yeah. So the crossing becomes a problem. So when you buy the eggs, a lot of them become infertile. They can't form because the crossing is not properly done.
Livestock farming has the potential to address a large portion of the unemployment cases in the Upper East region. The central government should initiate deliberate programs to support the youth to create businesses in this sector. NGOs seeking to empower rural women economically can use this approach since the initial capital required is less than that of other businesses. My name is Humukusum Tahiru, reporting for A1 Radio.
Dekile